Hey, Gophers, nice job. Uh, Gophers lose 14-6 at home to unranked Illinois, losing record Illinois. But what makes this one especially funny is this week they announced another contract extension for PJ for it's overall I think it's 7 more years. They added a couple years to it this week for no reason whatsoever. No reason whatsoever. There was absolutely no reason to do it. The question at the time was like, well, why the hell are you doing it at this point in the season? He hasn't even played Iowa or Wisconsin yet, who he's 1-7 against. You know, we don't even know at that point what, are they actually going to win those games maybe and have some sort of, special memorable season? Well, no, they're fucking not now because you just lost at home to Illinois. And they're going to, they absolutely are going to lose to Iowa and Wisconsin. Those are going to be blowouts. They're going to get killed in those games. So you're going to end up at best 7-5, and you give this guy a fucking contract extension. What the hell are you doing? Why are they so? They did this before. They did this a couple years ago. They're like, hurry up and give this guy contract extensions. Like, they're so paranoid about, oh no, we might lose PJ Fleck. Who gives a fuck if you lose PJ Fleck, which you're not going to, because no one is going to fucking. There's not a single like major college out there that's going to be beating down the door to hire PJ Fleck away from you. They're just not. And this game today is a fucking embarrassment. You're down 14-0 in a blink. Your defense at least manages to hold them from that point on, but your offense is a fucking catastrophe. Tanner Morgan is a fucking joke. He never should take another snap in a college football game. There's no reason to keep putting this idiot out there. He can't play. I don't know what happened. I never bought that he was a pro prospect, but he was a capable enough college quarterback a couple years ago, and he has gone completely in the fucking tank. And whether that's him, whether that's the coaching, whether that's the offensive coordinator, who knows? But he fucking sucks. There's no reason to keep him out there. He takes sacks when he shouldn't. He doesn't throw the ball away when he should. He can't. He's not much of a runner. What does he do for you? And maybe you don't have anybody else. Maybe you don't have anybody else who you think can be a starting quarterback right now. Who gives a fuck? Throw somebody else out there. You're a running team anyway. They've been proving this whole season that they don't trust Tanner Morgan to do anything as a quarterback, at least as a passer. So what difference does it make? Whether it's Cole Kramer or whoever else, throw somebody else out there, a quarterback. This is ridiculous. And today they shut down your running game. And I know you're down several running backs, but that's your identity. You've got this big offensive line that you brag about, and it frankly shouldn't matter who the fucking running back is. And I don't think they even ran for 100 yards today. And they didn't throw for anything until late. They kind of went into up-tempo stuff. Don't know why they didn't do that earlier. But, and then even when they fucking score a touchdown, the useless kicker misses a PAT. He missed a field goal too this game. Awful. He missed it horribly. Like, you have no kicker, you have no offense. Your defense is okay. But so whether this was just, you got the Iowa game next week, and you look at, well, guess what? You already fucking choked that game away to Bowling Green on homecoming. You don't get the excuse of, hey, we're just looking past somebody. This is just as embarrassing a result as Bowling Green, because maybe an upset can happen, but now you just got burned twice at home by teams you should have rolled if you were a legitimate team, which you are not, and your coach is not deserving of this endless adulation from this fucking town and this athletic department that just throws contract extensions his way for no fucking reason. What was the fucking reason for giving him an extra couple years of a contract extension this week? Why? Because he beat, Purdue and a bad Nebraska team, and he won some games against the absolute dregs of a bad conference, and you just rush out there and give him extra years on a contract when he hasn't won any games of consequence yet. Like, maybe, like, frankly, even now, even if they do somehow pull off a win again in one of those rivalry games, it ain't gonna matter. You're still probably not gonna win the West. And even if you did win the West, you would get skull fucked by probably Ohio State again. But there would at least be something you could kind of be like, hey, we won the West. Well, you're not going to win the West. You're going to fall far short of that because Iowa and Wisconsin are going to blow out the Gophers. Everybody knows it, and everybody probably knew it even going into this game. It's unbelievable. It's classic Gophers. It's classic Minnesota sports to lose this game in this way days after giving a contract extension that no one has explained why that was done. There was no urgency to do it whatsoever. If he beats one of those rivalry teams, maybe gets in a good bowl, wins a game, you could do it after the season. No one's beating down your fucking door to get PJ Fleck away from you. There's this paranoia that, oh my God, one of these big schools is going to hire away PJ Fleck. Who gives a fuck if he hires away PJ Fleck? He had one nice season with a easy fucking schedule, luckily beat Penn State, then got fucking embarrassed in your two big rivalry games, and beat an Auburn team that didn't fucking care that they were playing in an Outback Bowl because they are Auburn. Auburn is used to, used to playing in high-profile bowl games, higher profile than Outback Bowl. They didn't fucking give a shit about that game. We treated it like it was the fucking, Super Bowl. Like, okay, you won the game, fine, nice season. You came back, and last year in that abbreviated season you were fucking terrible. This year you've been mediocre as hell, but you've won games against bad opponents, and you also now have lost 2 home games to bad opponents, and you're gonna get fucking murdered by your 2 rivals over the next few weeks, and everybody knows it. And PJ Fleck can do his egomaniacal bullshit about, our culture's great, our culture's winning. Well, guess what? Your fucking culture just got beat 14-6 at home by Illinois, and a couple months ago you got beat at home by Bowling Green. PJ Fleck is an overrated hack, and I am so tired of the deification of this guy in this town. He's not even as good as Glenn Mason was. He's done jack shit here. He's treated like he is Nick Saban. He has done nothing but continually come up short when it really matters. And that's not any different than any other Gopher coach certainly in my lifetime. They've all, Gophers have never been consistently good, or even not even consistent bowl teams most of the time. And they'll get into a bowl game. They're already bowl eligible. And they got to play Indiana in a couple weeks. Maybe they can win that game, But you're at best going to finish 7-5, which is nothing. Who gives a shit? We finished 7-5 a bunch of times, or comparable records a bunch of times over the years. Who gives it? They didn't treat those coaches who did that like, oh my God, we're going to lose this guy. We have to hurry up and give him contract extensions all the time. How many different contract extensions has he had since he first got here? I think there's at least 3 now. Like, what are you doing? Stop buying into the PJ Fleck bullshit. He's just a mediocre coach who talks a lot. It's unbelievable. Another just embarrassing loss for the Gophers, and they've had tons of embarrassing losses over the years, but they didn't occur with coaches talking as much shit as PJ Fleck wants to talk, and an AD rushing out and giving him contract extensions for no fucking reason. No, there is no big school out there that is going to beat down your door to get PJ Fleck. And guess what? If you ever get the program good enough to where where one of the real big-time schools is coming after PJ Fleck, then you're probably fine letting him go because you've presumably got some coaches waiting in the wings. Or it's more of a, some sort of a destination program for coaches. But we're not there yet, and we're not going to be there because PJ Fleck is just not, he is not what he is hyped up to be by the PJ stands. And this is another just absolute embarrassment. This season is a complete and utter failure. Unless they somehow manage, and I don't see how the fuck it's possible. Go out and at least win one of the rivalry games. But honestly, I don't even think even if you win one of the two, because it's not like Iowa's that great. Iowa's fallen way off since early in the season, and Wisconsin's not that great. These aren't great teams. It's not like you'd be taking down, top level Iowa or Wisconsin teams. You'd rather win them than lose them, but they've got one win against either of those teams. Fleck has 1-7 against those two teams, and the one win was against probably the worst Wisconsin team in the last 30 years. So, I mean, yeah, 7 more years he is under contract for. And we know contracts don't necessarily, always stick, but I mean, again, what was the fucking hurry to extend this fucking guy? There was no urgency. No one is coming after this guy to hire him away from you. Like, other schools across the nation, they're not looking at PJ Fleck winning, being what were they, 6-2 coming into the game? Oh wow, he's 6-2 at Minnesota. Wow, we got to get him. They don't care. These top schools that would hire away a PJ Fleck, they're not having to resort to hiring a PJ Fleck. Remember when PJ Fleck was like way down the list of options for the Gophers? Like they were trying to get more high profile coaches, and they settled for PJ Fleck. And that's what these other schools would be doing. They would be settling for PJ Fleck. Like, he had one pop-up year here, and other than that, it's been a fucking catastrophe. I mean, I don't know what his overall record is, but his overall record, other than 2019, if it's above 500, it ain't much. And he's treated like he is a fucking god in this town. And he's given contract extensions in the middle of seasons for no reason. And this probably won't be the last time, because guess what? He's shown for the most part that he can pile up 6 or 7 wins in a season with a soft schedule, and the conference sucks. Big Ten sucks. He's playing bad teams every week, so yeah, he better win some of those games. He better get in bowl games consistently. It means nothing. I'm sorry, it means nothing. We've seen other coaches, for the Gophers, able to do what PJ Fleck is going to end up doing from this season, which is lose every game of consequence and get into a crappy bowl game, and maybe they win the bowl game. Who cares? I don't care if they end up in the the Weed Eater Bowl or whatever the fuck bowl they end up in. It's not going to matter. I just, this is so classic that they would choke this game away, and whether it's just I certainly wouldn't put it past them that PG was just so high up his own ass this week, celebrating how he's just gotten another extension. Then they didn't really put in the work to prepare for Illinois. I mean, Illinois went and beat Penn State a week or two ago. Like, you got to show up. And they already didn't show up against Bowling Green, and they didn't show up against Illinois. PJ Fleck is a fucking fraud. I don't care what the PJ stands say. PJ Fleck is a fucking fraud. He is a mediocrity who is treated like a god in this town, and I'm sick of it.